What's going on, everybody? Fall in, at attention. You are locked into another episode of the Husker Army podcast, brought to you by the great folks over at the Hurrdat Sports Media Network. Gotta love those guys. Can't thank them enough for everything they've done for us so far. And of course, gotta thank everybody over at the Husker Army Facebook fan page. Go become a member of them as soon as you can. We are as members, as you could tell. Our guests have recently become members of there. It's a great community, great people, no toxic bull crap at all. It's just a great group of folks that I've been blessed to come to know, especially Matthew Malone, call him Thew. Great dude. So if you're watching this on YouTube, as always, please leave a like and subscribe. Make sure to hit that bell notification. You'll know when we have our new uploads. And we were supposed to have Jamal Lord on with us today, former Husker quarterback, but we tried like hell, and I mean like hell. We were supposed to record at noon Central Standard Time, and we are sitting at it is 1:30 Central Standard Time now. We royally tried. He's having major technical issues. He lives in Texas. They've got some inclement weather going on. I mean, we tried everything we could think of, but we are going to have Jamal on this next week for the bye week. We've already discussed it. We'll have things figured out by then, hopefully. So that'll be really good. So I apologize that Jamal won't be on with us today, but we really did try like hell. An hour and a half easily of trying. And Kenny, you can attest to that. We've been sitting here a bit. So all right, so you got that. You know what? You know to subscribe, like on YouTube. You'll find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those audio-only platforms. Make sure to leave a like there for us as well. Subscribe to the show if that's what it allows on those platforms. It really helps us out. And, of course, got to let you know about the merch, everybody. The merch is great. It really is. You see it right there. Take your butt to hurrdatsports.com. Check out the Husker Army merch page. All right, it's just a little pop-down window. You click on merch, I believe. You'll find us there in the list somewhere. Click on that. You see it. We got those shirts, stainless steel tumblers, the coffee mugs, the trucker and dad hats, and, of course, the beanies. Different colors, different styles there. I'm telling you, it's good stuff. You won't regret it. And as always, send us a picture or tag us in a picture, if you will, on Twitter or whatever you need to do, Twitter, Instagram. And then, of course, we'll make your very own enlisted graphic for you, as we did for Noah Peters for the hat. But I'm going to go ahead and show you what we had set for Jamal here. Of course, we had him right there as enlisted. And, of course, he is. Like I said, next week, Jamal will be on with us. So we'll get right into it. I am your host, Bryan Knutzen. With me, as always, former Husker wide receiver, multi-time national champ, Kenny Cheatham, a.k.a. KC. Matt had prior commitments today. He had to head out to the farm. They got some things going on. So, going to be just me and Kenny today. Should be sweet and to the point. We're going to talk about it, Kenny. Son of a bitch, do we got to talk about it. Huskers drop it 27-20 in Lincoln to at the time, a 2-win UCLA team. And don't get me wrong. Look, I looked at UCLA's schedule, and yeah, it was quite the tough schedule to begin the season for them. It really was. But they were beaten in those games as you would have expected a team that's not up to their opponent's caliber to lose by. So I was like, okay, their 2-5 record is justified. I understand why they're 2-5. I did not foresee any of this coming. I really thought, out of our remaining 4 games, this was going to be the one to get. This was going to be the one that we're probably going to get. And they lay a complete golden fucking egg on both sides of the ball. And I hate to be that critical of them because I'm friends with guys on the team right now. Kenny, what the hell's going on, man?
I don't know, man. Honestly, I think we dug ourselves in a hole too much from the jump, and we were fighting to get out of it for the rest of the game. And you saw some things that were very, I would say, uncharacteristic early in the season, which has started to show up later in the season, happening again yesterday. So we can start from uh, open players being open, making catches on the defensive side of the ball. And we can go from us not making connections on the offensive side of the ball and establishing a strong running game and holding the ball too long back with the quarterback. So it was an ugly game to watch, but it was one that was still winnable if we had put some things together. But unfortunately, we couldn't.
Yeah.
And we didn't.
No, not at all. That was the thing. If you looked at it from UCLA's very first drive and even their second drive, for some odd reason, the black shirts were doing fine first and second down, but third downs. I didn't pull up the stats for this shit. I didn't want to look at it. I really didn't. It's the fact that we had to relive it doing this was bad enough. But I know for a fact that their third down conversions in that game were very good. We could not get off the field, and I couldn't understand why. I've watched highlights. I still can't understand why. I don't know what happened to that defense that we saw play against Ohio State where they allowed not even 70 yards on the ground to them, whom, by the way, had a decent running day against Penn State yesterday, pulling out that W. So obviously these guys, we know they've got the talent. We know the talent is there on the team. And we know Tony White knows what the hell he's doing as a defensive coordinator. But it just seemed like they were tensing up on third downs. We were getting pressure, but not at the right times. That quarterback got rid of that ball pretty damn quick. I'll give him credit for that. It was 3-step drop and no more than that, and it's gone. But you can't let a guy like him bust you out for a 58-yard scramble. And by the way, the longest run that the Black Shoots have given up all season.
Mm-hmm.
And coincidentally, the longest run, I believe they said UCLA's had all season.
Yeah, they had their longest rushing attempt all year. It was like 57, 58 yards, and the other one was like 40-something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those plays hurt us tremendously. When you're trying to, and plays like that will always hurt you when you're trying to get a team off the field. And that just keeps drive going. It gives them more opportunity to put points on the board or to put you in position to pin you deep if they do not score, on their offensively, to where you're trying to go the long way down to your end of the field to get some points on the board. So those runs were huge, especially the second one. The first one was big.
Yeah.
Of course, I think that one led to a touchdown, if I'm correct, right?
It might have been.
So, but the second one was even bigger. But I mean, you can't have those things happen in a game and expect to win. You cannot have the turnovers that you had in the game and expect to win. And like I said, myself and Brian, we might toggle back and forth between here and the Ohio State game. The defense didn't play as well as they did against them, and our offense struggled at times offensively. It was. I kind of certain teams you can watch and you have an idea of where the game's going to go early on in the game. And when I saw how quick our first possession was, which was probably less than a minute in that first quarter, and they pretty much, I'll just say they had the ball the entire first quarter.
Yeah, they did. They pretty much did.
I had an idea where it was going, and the way they kept their drives going during that time in which they had the ball during that quarter, it pretty much sounded a small alarm in my head, but it also made me say, okay, we're letting the team that we should technically be beating and getting off the field sustain long drives. And even if a team has a bad win-loss record on paper, it's still a football team, ladies and gentlemen.
Michigan State last year.
Still people who want to play, still people who have pride. still people who are going out there giving it their all. And we just pretty much handed them the game, a winnable game that we still technically should have and could have won.
Yeah. I mean, you lose 27-20, and those 27 points, that was right after the very first play we had in the third quarter. So if you want to be technical, it was like 27-7 at halftime, basically. Because the very first play of the second half, Raiola throws the pick six. There you go. It's 27-7. So you don't dig yourself a hole like that in basically one half of football. And you look at how they actually played in that second half, where we were starting to get the running game going, which we're going to, oh boy, are we going to fucking talk about that here in a moment. But starting to get that rolling a little bit, and you put up 20 points in that second half, you don't let them do what they did in the first 30 minutes of football. You win the fucking game.
That is correct.
And I'm trying not to sound frustrated because, like I said, I do talk to some of these young men that are currently on the team, that currently play. They're starters. So I have developed friendships with these young men, and I'm not going to be openly critical about them because this level of football, I have zero knowledge in because I didn't play at this level. Now, my passion for the game, the way I wish I could still play the game, that's all still there. My knowledge of the game is still there. So when I do see things, I will call things out. And one thing I will say is Emmett Johnson, who I love the kid. I love his work ethic. I love his character. Everything about him is exactly what you want on a team. But there are times, especially not just this game, but the Ohio State game, where he's either trying to keep bouncing it outside or he makes that cut inside, but each time it's been the wrong decision, where the opposite decision was the right decision, to either keep bouncing it out or you should have cut it in sooner. And it worries me that he's not seeing those lanes opening up. Now, Rahmir Johnson, on the other hand, you put him in for, I think it was 2 or 3 plays, and I think he gains like 17 yards on 2 carries, and then you take him out. He was giving him that spark. He was giving him that wiggle, that burst of speed once he sees the lane. And then they took him out. We didn't see him the rest of the damn game. Now, I've tried not to criticize Satterfield at all because I'm not an offensive coordinator. I'm not there with the team every day. I don't see what the hell is going on. But it's painfully obvious that I'm not sure he knows what to do with the type of talent we all know we have. The stupid little shit he was doing at South Carolina, folks, let's not forget. Yeah, he had Spencer Rattler as his damn quarterback, but that's not saying anything. Where is Spencer Rattler right now? What is he doing? Nothing. Satterfield, I'm sorry. I'm finally going to say it. I don't think he's going to be here at the end of the season. I really don't. I think he has put the last nail in the coffin. So Rule will not do it during the season. I can almost guarantee that. 99.9% sure. Rule will not do it during the season. But Rule's going to have to open his eyes on this one. After the season, Sat needs to go bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean,
you can disagree too, Kenny, and that's fine, man.
Yeah, I never really get into hiring and firing because it's kind of hard for people out because sometimes you have to look at the decisions that are being made, and at the time that they are being made. So I just gave you 2 different things that are being made, and at the time they are being made. The thing going back to Emmett, I think he has missed some things, but they all have. But I think it's him trying to make the big play.
Yeah.
So because sometimes you can get in a rush when you get in and you're not. See, it's like a basketball player. Football and the running back position and the quarterback position and the running back position are 2 of the most are the two positions on offense that need the most rhythm. As a quarterback, you need to get in a rhythm. You can't just go in there and hand it off 1,000 times and then say, "Oh, start throwing all these pass plays." No, there's a rhythm you have to get into. As far as running the ball, the comfort level, getting it consistently, getting it, running it, making a move, seeing the hope. Then you can start seeing how players flow, etc. That whatever the case may be, when you're getting it. But the way we're rotating them in, you can't really get a rhythm and sustain that rhythm in that pace. So when you get in, you're almost rushed to feel that you have to make that big play instantly. So for Ramir, when he gets in, like I said, he's a Swiss Army knife and he's electric. So when he gets in and he goes, it's at that pace that other teams really aren't prepared for once he gets into the game. The other backs are more traditional, thicker size, bigger running backs with the potential to break it, run it. You know, Dowdell isn't getting outside and pulling away from you. You know, he's running straight up at you, power, here we come.
Yep.
So it's like those things were missed, but those are things that can be shown in film and, you know, keep your eyes open. But we also have to remember that the flow of the game is so fast at the time that it's just half a second and things like that, which can throw you off.
Yeah.
Offensively, play calling wise, at times, I don't know what we're doing. It can be a little bit confusing. I think we can try to get a little bit too sexy with the play calling instead of just being basic and being in attack mode. For me, at times, it's like, to hell with all of that. Just go get at them. We don't need to be sexy. We don't need to do anything extravagant. Oh, we have this lineup in. Okay. One of the things that caught my eye that really pissed me off um, was one of the formations offensively. We would have called it, I think, our ace formation. I think they might have had a wide or double tights, but it was Dowdell lined up in the backfield. And I think my man was like 9 or 10 yards off of the ball, damn near, maybe 8 or 9. He was back there far. And they tried to run it straight up the gut. And I'm like, what in the hell? Then the next play is when they, I think, lined him up at fullback, and he ended up getting the first down.
Yeah.
But when that formation was called, first thing I noticed was how far back he was. And then I said, they had him that far back without a lead back in front of him. It was just a little bit too far back from me. Now, I don't know if that was on him. I don't know if that's how the play is designed for it to draw back a little bit, to line the cross block, or whatever the case may be. But that's not the play you want to run right there. We want to run right at you with some power in front and get that first down. So I don't know, man. It was a slow game one because the
Yeah.
drives when drives are long, it makes the game slower. Unfortunately, at the same
I
time.
think UCLA's first two drives were like 14 plays, 10 plays. Like, it was ridiculous.
So it just, you saw everything because you had to watch it to see what was going to happen. But the pick six, the interception, the sacks, um, the drop pass, says, you know, the open for them catching passes just pretty much sitting in the middle of the zone, playing pitch and catch. I don't know what was going on yesterday, man. It was hard to watch.
It was. And look, the blame can be placed in more than one or two places easily. Receivers here lately have been bad on perimeter blocking. They've been bad on downfield blocking. I don't know how that changed from the first couple games to where we are now. I know that they're having issues getting open. I know that Dylan scrambles at times because just nobody's open. Now, on that flip side right there, Dylan's just as much to blame on these as well. And I hate to do that because he is only 19 damn years old. A lot of folks forget he was playing high school football this time a year ago. But we needed to see improvement as the season moves along, and I'm afraid we're seeing regression. He has missed open receivers through his progressions. He has made bad decisions instead of maybe checking it down like we saw he could have done yesterday quite a few
Throwing that
times.
ball away.
Yes, it seems like anytime he gets out of the pocket, he has one look. If it isn't there, it's getting thrown away. And what bothers me even more is he had success running against Ohio State a week ago. And then yesterday against UCLA, it seemed like it was in his head that he was thinking run first, pass second. I could see it numerous times, and it was not because he was getting pressured. There were times that pocket was holding and he was bailing. And he was thinking about running. And I'm just like, why are you thinking of running first now? You know that's not your strength. We recruited you here because we needed a passing quarterback, one that can create plays. And you're being compared to, as of right now, the GOAT in the NFL at quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
So it kind of worries me that we went 4 games, I think it was, without seeing an interception from him. And now we're getting at least one from him a game. I know we're still good in our turnover margin. I know we're still in plus territory. But I know it's night and day from last year, turnover-wise. But damn.
Oh, absolutely. But those turnovers are what's putting us in position to lose games and making us having to work harder to get the wins.
Take the pick six
let's,
away.
Let's,
We're in
let's,
overtime.
Let's call a spade a spade. He can't throw that ball away like that.
No.
He can't take those bad sacks to lose those yards. One, it's a bad sack because he's losing yards. And two, or you can flip-flop him. Let's flip-flop him. One, because you put yourself in position to get hurt by taking those unnecessary sacks. And secondly, field position, losing the ball, etc. So his turnovers have hurt. We do know it is significantly lower than what it's been in the previous years, which for us is as fans, even to me, is a blessing because we've seen the worst of the worst, and untimely worst of the worst turnovers over the last umpteen years. But the fact of the matter is, we're not controlling the ball offensively like we need to from that position. Now, granted, he is young, but still is a learning curve. So watch the film, learn from your mistakes, and see where those mistakes are at and get them corrected. Go with the old, who was that? What did they say? Was it Aaron Rodgers or whoever it is to say? No, they said he would take sacks, not to throw off his percentage. But anyway, just throw that ball out of bounds. Get it, get outside of the pocket, throw it out. But if you can do that without taking unnecessary hits, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We see from getting hit, he ended up having to leave the game. And that put in Harvard. So, yeah, man, it was a lot of missed opportunities offensively, a lot of defensive opportunities that we didn't capitalize on. And like you said, we couldn't get them off the field on third down. And the time of possession was just murderous. You're not going to win unless you have a super 1 to 2 play explosive offense, 2-3 plays. You're not going to win having to fight back when you dig yourself in a hole like that.
Yep.
It's just what it is,
And it was too big of a hole. To be down 27-7 to a team like UCLA is this year. I'm not calling them historically bad. We all know they're not. But the year they're having this year, the troubles they've had, a first-time head coach. I mean, what the hell? I wasn't understanding it. And I'm right there with you, Kenny. After I started basing it off about our second offensive possession. And I just started shaking my head. I don't think I even yelled during the game because I just saw what was going on. That the inability to run the ball in that first half, the inability to really do anything. Dylan looking to run in lanes that just weren't there and not keeping his eyes downfield. I know the pick six he had to start off the third quarter. If he would have looked to his left and checked it down to, I think it was Emmett Johnson, he would have had a solid 6 yards or more on the catch.
Right.
I don't know. And credit UCLA's defensive scheme, honestly. The way they were shifting pre-snap, they were showing Dylan one thing. And then as soon as Dylan would make his read pre-snap, they would shift around, especially on that line. So they were really confusing Raiola. I'll give him that, and I know damn well they were confusing him. There's no way around it. You could see it. So I got to give them credit for that one. I really do. But the defense was what left me scratching my head. I after literally getting their asses handed to them by Indiana, coming back the next week in a game that everybody expected the same thing to happen. 99% of the college football fan population was expecting that to happen at Ohio State. And they potentially should have won that game. Mm-hmm. And then they come out this next week at home, finally back home, and lay a royal fucking egg and can't stop a team with 2 wins. They made them look like they were almost undefeated.
Right.
To me, that's the most disheartening part was how the defense performed. And I know they're feeling the same way. I get that. They feel worse than what we do. But you felt that way after Indiana. So you came out hair on fire against Ohio State. Where was it against UCLA? Guys, come on. They're not better than you. They're not. But score-wise, they are.
Right. Right. I mean, and that's something you're going to have to take on the chin. That's something you're going to have to man up and look at. And they practice on Sundays, right?
I believe so. I hope they are this time.
So that's something they're going to have to look at one another. I mean, I'm just going to bring up some stuff real quick because I was trying to click and get some stats.
Please do.
Here's what's crazy. And I'm sure you looked at it too. 2 and 2 picks, 2 turnovers. We had 2 penalties for 15 yards. They had 9. We ran the ball 9 more times than them and averaged almost 2 yards less. They averaged 8.8 per pass play. We averaged 6. The total yards was 360 to 322. First downs, 17 to R21. Third down, we were 6. They were 6 to 13. We were 9 for 17. So both almost at both over a little 50%, if I'm correct.
Yep.
Fourth down, we were 1 for 3. They were 0 for 0, so we're going to put in that position. But here's the kicker after all that, even with UCLA's long, strong ass drives that they put on us, we ended up with a minute and 32-second difference in time of possession. We had the ball for a minute and 32 seconds more.
We won time of possession.
29-14 to 30-46.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You honestly, I hadn't even looked at the stats, Kenny. I wouldn't have believed anybody if they had told me that we won time of possession, not after their first 2 drives.
Yep.
Jesus. Yep. Salt in the fucking wound right there.
Mm-hmm. Crazy, right?
How many yards were we averaging on the ground? Do you have that one in front of you?
They averaged 4.9. We averaged 3. And we ran the ball 9 times, 28 to 30, 29 to 38.
So that means running game wise, we fell short of what Satterfield said he'd like to have per play, which I believe he said was a minimum of 4 yards per play running.
Mm-hmm.
and you said we were averaging just over
So I don't know if
6.
they deducted anything for the sacks. You know what I mean? But it's showing
Well, that
3.0.
is true. But even at that, obviously that doesn't work, Satterfield. Obviously, what you'd like to average is not enough, buddy. And I know he got criticized for making that statement too, because if you would have looked at all that and the averages that he wants, I don't think it even would have put us like in the top 25 nationally for an offense, yardage wise. I think it was a very horrible
Low
spot to
number.
be in. Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know. Like I said, I'm not one to call for a coach to be fired. I'm not one to even listen to when it comes to something like that.
Right.
But when you can talk to folks just in passerby, you're Husker fans, you stop, you talk about the game, you talk about the team. And when you've got people that can constantly say, I know what play we're about to run before we run it, you know damn well that the other team sure as hell does then too.
Yeah, because that's what they look at. They're looking at
Exactly.
So
I'm sorry, Sat. I mean, look, dude, you did what you could here, and yeah, I'm talking like he's already gone, but I'm sorry, man. I don't think this bromance is going to work out any longer. I know you're Rules buddy, but even Rule's going to have to look at it and know he's got to do what's best for the team and the program, because it's not show friends, folks, as they say. It's show business.
right.
So
Yeah.
you can't.
Check this out.
Oh, please.
Ramir averaged 9 yards a carry. He had 3 for 27.
See? And then you take him out.
Right.
I'm also worried as to why we're not seeing Gabe Irvin Jr. in there at all.
It's too late in the season for them to still be trying to figure out their rotation and who they're going to put in and play at times. They should already have that done by the end of the week. I mean,
exactly.
that should already be up and over with. So, like I said, for me to see, this computer done. So for me to see the way they did the thing with Ramir and Dowdell, so obviously he's their workhorse, who at one time fell out of favor, and then it was him and Ramir, and then somehow, some way, they stopped being the workhorses and in spot duty and going to Dowdell. I mean, I don't know, man. It's who's making those decisions.
I don't
what I'm
know.
saying? Who's making those decisions in that time when the players are out there? Because it's confusing to us. It's like I said, it's no rhythm.
None.
And
there's no ID to this offense. They don't have an identity. And we're 8 games into the season, 9 games into the season.
Yeah. So it's hard, man. It's a hard thing to watch, hard pill to swallow, but we need to figure it out.
Yeah, they really do, because if you just, even the loss to Illinois was one of those things where it's like, shit, we knew somebody was going to get us, somebody that shouldn't get us this year. We can move on. We can move on past that. But then we started to see that the offense is struggling. The defense has been exposed on some things.
Right.
But then damn it, I wish I could figure it out. I don't know. I can't figure heads or tails out of how you come out of a bye week, get throttled by one team, go to the very next week to the number 4 team in the nation's house, play them down to the wire, probably should have pulled it off. And then you come out a week after that, when you come back home after a few weeks, and you look like you hadn't played all season. You looked like you were out there for scrimmage. I don't know. I even tweeted it out there. So confused, so heartbroken, so hurt, so what the fuck just happened?
Perplexed.
Yes. Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck just happened? It is not.
They don't even know.
No, they don't. And that's what I mean. It's so hard because developing the friendships that I've developed with guys that are currently on the team, I know that they want to win. I know that they have the heart, the drive, the talent to win. So where is this falling short? Where is it? And I'm not going to go ask them because I don't want them to be in a position to feel like they don't want to badmouth anybody.
Right.
So I don't. It's hard, Kenny, as a podcaster and a fan, because as a podcaster, you want to say a lot of things that you know you don't mean, but maybe it'll light a fire under their ass. But as a fan, I just can't bring myself to always put blame on one or two people.
Right.
I can't do it. So it's a double-edged sword.
Blame has to go on the whole, the entirety of everyone, because you still, like we always say, yes, there is play calling that can affect the game tremendously. Decisions like, why are you handing the ball to the tight end on the sweep or whatever at this point? That used to be the fullback. Why are you on this 4th and 1 trying to run right up the gut when you haven't been successful? Why, when you have a quarterback that can throw it? Why are you pretty much handing it to him by running it straight out? There are things, but at some point you have to execute and know your assignments and not do the little things. So, like you said, it's a double-edged sword. You want to be critical, but not harsh.
Yeah.
You want to be harsh with the criticism. So there's a balance. You have to kind of walk when you do it. Like myself, I will be critical, and you've never heard me tear up a player because I was once in those shoes, and I'll never do that. But I will be critical of the decisions and the things they did. You'll never say, "Oh, this is no, that's not me," because like I said, I've been on that side of the fence and had people speak to me about stuff when I was there, and they'd be like, "Hey, Ken," and I'm like, "Hey, well," and this is before of course, social media and all the access, and I'm like, "Nah, you really don't know why I do A, B, C, and D, or how I feel about boom, 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 boom. All you see is that." You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So then they sit down and they say, "Oh, that makes sense." Yeah, you know what I mean? Because in that age, when something was put out about you, um, and people had all these avenues to read it, that was their perception. You get what I'm saying? Um, so their criticism was based off one-sided. So now with all these outlets, people can get their perspective on things. So it just goes back to, you want to be on them, you want to be harsh on them, but we don't know what they're telling them, but we can understand. So that's why I lean more toward the critical. Yeah, I'll be critical about my man in those holes, but who knows what he sees and where they're telling him to press on the run and where it might be. So it may be getting coached differently during the week. Or what they're telling Dylan. You get what I'm saying? But the point is, you still have to perform. You still have to make adjustments in games. You still have to sometimes improvise in those situations to get it done. So it's just rough, man. It's you love the kids. You want to see the kids do well. You want to, of course, see the Big Red do well. But when you have a supreme letdown game like the Indiana game, where they just pretty much handed you your ass, and then you bounce back versus Ohio State, and you had a game that you could have possibly won.
Shock the world.
It just, like I said, let's go back to that. Didn't we try to run the ball on 4th and 1 or something silly over there with a long dive, jump over, without else over, plays like that? Why aren't you throwing the ball in that situation? You don't have You're not that team running the ball.
Not yet, nope.
So while you're trying that, I would prefer you try on some passing to where one, you get it connected, two, you get a pass interference, something of that nature. You got big receivers, you have a tight end. Let's go. But you want to hand it off and have the guy try to jump from 3, 4 yards back and then get stuffed at the line of scrimmage. That didn't make any sense to me. Wrong time to get sexy once again.
Yes.
So, you know, I don't know, man. It's an emotional roller coaster from getting throttled to damn, we should have won that. Okay, I'm not as mad, but damn, we should have won that. To what the hell just happened?
Yeah, literally. What the fuck?
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to explain. I'm sure it's us being part of it, I'm sure it's fans to say, what the hell just happened? We just played the number 3, number 4 team in the country down to the wire and should have and could have, and I'll say should have beat them.
Yes.
And then we get the 2 and whatever team to come here and we look like crap. And you
Yes.
go up above and say that's on them being prepared from the coaching staff. You get what I'm saying? There's so many avenues you can travel down to assess how we looked and how we played. But the point of the matter is, gentlemen, you have a couple games left to win one game to put yourself in position to be where none of you have ever been, which is a bowl game.
Yes.
You need to really look yourself in the mirror. If this was me with my personality, I can only speak for me, ladies and gentlemen. With my personality, I'm not an outgoing person anyway. I'm a extroverted introvert. Introvert, that makes sense. I'm extroverted with people I know within a small circle, but I'm introverted with everyone else. So if I see you, I might be like, hey, what's happening? And I'm gonna keep it pushing. My personality would be, I need to block out all the other foolishness, and we need to get down and get to business on what we're trying to accomplish here.
Yep.
Because I think there's too many different distractions and avenues and things these guys have going as far with social media and those type things that can distract them from the goal. My goal would be like, hey, dude, we can't lose another one. No rep in practice should be wasted. No second off the clock watching film should be wasted. And it's balls to the wall from here on out.
Yep.
Because I would feel like a complete piece of poop if we were right there knocking on the door and couldn't get it done.
Again.
That's just me. Yeah. It's just
Especially
me.
starting 5-1. Seriously. If they start
Mhm.
5-1 and miss a bowl game, that
It's
oh
rough.
man. I hate to
It's
even
rough.
think about that, but it's reality to think about right now. Because honestly,
Hmm.
2 of our last 3 remaining games are on the road at USC and at Iowa.
Yeah.
2 places that are not easy to win at, folks. And as we've shown yesterday against a 2-win UCLA team that is now a 3-win UCLA team, we don't have automatic wins.
Right. Which is what I've always said. That time is up. Those players are gone. That
Yep.
mindset is over. That mindset is gone. This is a whole new era of Nebraska football, people. And this is what I've tried to explain to people. This is what people will get upset to me about. And it goes back to what I said. It goes back to what Lorenzo said about the black shirts. That's dead. That's just part of the program now. But that old era of that mindset, that mentality, that's gone.
Yeah.
Those people aren't there coaching. That mind, that's gone. As far as Nebraska football and what we expect, that's gone. So understand, like I said, why I get pissed and why we're critical. It's not like I said, it's not a place that we don't want to see our program do well. That's the most idiotic shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. That people would think we would want to see our team, our program in our school, which we've torn our bodies up for, be successful. It's dumb shit.
Yeah.
It's the fact that mindset was destroyed. So for when we hear these guys talk. Understand? We hear these guys talk about Nebraska football, what it is and what it is. Now you don't know. You didn't come into that. You don't. You have no clue.
Yep.
You do not know. You're going off what it was. So for me, all even the ones you guys hype up and put on all these shows and like to highlight, oh, he did this and that. We're not the same. I will repeat it. We are not the same. They might have great individual numbers and careers and might have went on to the NFL. But there's a lot of players that I played with. A lot of us went on to the next level. Some of us had things that happened. There's a lot of us who didn't, who could have, should have been. Doesn't make them better than one, but the mindset and mentality is not the same. So, you know, that's what we need to try to get back in there, but it's never going to happen. We're just going to tell them what our expectations is. Expectations is are, however you want to say it, proper English, proper English. The old school is gone. The expectations are different. Ours will never, will never change.
Yep.
But they need to understand and start setting expectations on where they want to, where they or we would like to be as a program and what the bar is. My bar is 9.5, 10 wins a year, playing in a bowl game and potential starting the season, expecting to be playing for a national championship. Point blank, period.
Yep.
We must plan for a national championship. And if the other shit happens, then that's the disappointment.
Yep.
So, you know, I just keep having to say it, bro, because at some point your pride needs to kick in. And you need to realize we need to get this shit done. Because this is an embarrassment. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. God willing, we make it to a bowl game. But when I told everyone at the beginning of the year, stop talking about Colorado, it made it seem as if that was the peak of our season. There was reasons I said what I said.
And it was only the second game.
Yeah, there was a reason I said what I said. Stop making it seem like that was the peak to our season.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Stop. We need them. Okay. Move on. That move on and all that stuff was strategically said for a reason.
Yep.
I don't yap just to yap. It's not who I am. I don't like talking. I talk on this podcast. I was out of here. I don't talk to people. Who are you? I don't like people. Who are you, dude? What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I'm no nonsense. You know, people don't understand it. This is who I am, so people understand. I stand on business. Always and forever. Meaning, I'm friendly, but I'm not gonna sit in no frivolous conversation. People I don't like, I don't talk to. If it was fuck you in 1990, guess what it is in 2024? It's still fuck you. Hey, man. Nah, we ain't there. It's the same energy. 365, 24/7, forever.
Yeah.
I don't like you. I'm not gonna sit up here and pretend that I like you. That's what I tell people when they talk crazy on Twitter. What you don't say on Twitter or X what you gonna say to me in my face. Because I know you won't say it in my face. And if I tell you fuck you on Twitter, it's fuck you in person. It's always
Yep.
gonna be that. And I'm the same with Nebraska football. My expectations will never change. Year 2050. They better be 9+ wins and 10 wins expecting to play for national championship going to the season. But I just want the fellas to understand. Grab them and go. It's time to be crash to the wall like a crash test, dummy. Like a car in a crash test to get to this bowl game and have some pride and do something that hasn't been done. That's crazy. It hasn't been done in Nebraska football in a while, right?
Yeah.
Jeez, it hasn't been done in a long time. Gosh, that's just scary just saying it.
2016.
Shit. I was like a 40 ball. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Just went in my 40s. I'm like, damn, I'm a 40 ball. And that's the last time?
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy. They need to
Yeah.
do something about it.
Oh my God! Last time they made a bowl game, I was in my 30s.
Shit. I'm almost a 50 ball, man.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Sweet baby Jesus. You know that scene from, what was it, Half Baked, where he goes and he meets Sir Smokes a
Samson.
Lot. Well, no, the first time
Oh
he
yeah,
meets
yeah, yeah,
Sir Smokes a Lot.
yeah.
That part, loud, if you can hear me, help!
Yeah. Yeah, that's classic.
Oh, that line is stuck in my head because that's exactly how I feel as a Husker fan right now. Man.
Yeah,
It's
man.
oh
Hey,
shit. Well,
I'm like Scarface when he quit. That's how people understand when I say I stand on business. You're cool. You know what I'm saying? If you're cool. If you, I'm
fuck
out.
you, I'm out.
Yeah, that's what it is. 24/7.
Well, I mean, the good news is we're not the only ones that feel this way. I took to Twitter. I didn't think I was gonna be able to pull off Husker Twitter this week. I really didn't. Not after that game. But I was fortunate enough to at least get a few that weren't horrible. They're a little critical, but not horrible. Not anything unwarranted that shouldn't have been said. So we'll go ahead and start out first. Let's see who we got here. All right, Jake Sorensen at 937 Jake Sorensen. He tweeted out the quote, "Here we go again," end quote, conversation is very fine to have. Anyone telling you differently struggles to face reality. Hashtag
True story.
Huskers.
True.
Absolutely. Everybody knows me. I'm diehard as fuck. As diehard as you could pretty much be. I predict us to win every damn game. I predict us to go undefeated before the season starts. I can't bring myself to say we're going to lose a game, period. I cannot bring myself to do it. I can think it, but I can't bring myself to say it. I have thought it, but I cannot bring myself to ever
So you're
say
not
it.
gonna say it out loud,
I
huh?
can't do it. It's like there's a block in my brain that will not allow those words to actually leave my mouth. I don't know what it is, but I absolutely agree. We have to face reality. It is another here we go again feeling. And Kenny, that sucks because the beginning of the season, man, me and you we weren't thinking that way at all. We were finally thinking we're done with the there it is or the here we go again feeling. But
Right.
here it is, creeping its ugly fucking head back in, dude.
I'm back.
I'm back, bitches.
Yeah. Back on this.
But I got to
Crazy.
agree with Jake as Husker fans, and like he even put on there hashtag Huskers. So a lot of people probably saw that. And actually, at the time I took this was maybe a half hour, 45 minutes after the game. Yeah, this already had almost 2,000 views. So
Mm.
I mean, come on, yeah, we're not the only ones that have to face reality. A lot of folks saw that. I'm sure a lot agreed. But yeah, we've got to face that reality right now. Now, if they get
Right.
that sixth win, one out of these next three games, maybe we can. Maybe that'll alleviate that feeling just a little bit. Maybe.
Right.
All right, let's see. Next one we
Hopefully.
got here. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I just said hopefully, bro.
Oh,
Hopefully, because that's it.
well, yeah. Yeah, we'll see. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Justin Adams, hashtag GBR, the H Town Husker, the voice of Nebraska college football over there on YouTube. Definitely go check this man out. He's awesome. Great videos, great insights, great knowledge, and a great Husker fan. Just really is. But Justin tweeted out, Dylan's confidence is low right now. He's thinking instead of just playing. When you're thinking, you'll always be a half step late. And I think Justin was actually, I think he might have tweeted that out as the game was still going on. And the reason I pulled this, Kenny, is that kind of was into what I was thinking watching the game. That he's exactly right. Dylan is He was off. He's, as he said himself right there, his confidence is low right now. And to me, that was the looking to run first mentality. And then missing those wide open looks as he's trying to go through progressions, but he's only going through a couple progressions, then thinking about running. And when that wasn't going to work, he tried to go back to progressions, and it was either a sack or a throwaway.
Right. I wonder if that's with the confidence because of the picks he's thrown the last couple of weeks.
I'm wondering.
Could be.
Could
Or,
absolutely be onto something.
I mean, who knows? I mean, but he needs to find some way to gain it back
Yeah,
and let it go. And sometimes you can't do more than what you need to do. Sometimes you can say people are doing too much. He needs to not do too much
yeah,
and just play the game. And not he can be overthinking it, like you said,
very
and
true.
rushing everything and not sitting back there like he would. But then we have to go and look and see film wise what we're not seeing from a fan perspective is are they getting open to give him time to get them the ball? But
Yep.
for me personally, I just refuse to believe that all of a sudden these guys can't get open.
I
And
agree.
for me, as a former wide receiver, I personally just need some explanation to why we are not going vertical with Lloyd and what's my little man 17 with him,
Ja'Cory Barney.
Corey Barney. We do not utilize them vertically enough for me in this offense. We use them laterally. Barney definitely laterally,
Oh, yeah.
but we do not use them vertically enough for me to make a defense respect our downfield ability to stretch the field. It's
Yep.
just my opinion. It's just my opinion. And if ever we know as fans, like you said, it's gonna be the quick screen, the sweep, and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure the defensive team, the defensive coaches are aware that the same thing is coming. So what are we doing to make the adjustments in order to put teams in a pickle to where they're not expecting that and surprising them with other stuff? Use your weapons. Um, Sometimes coaches can not use their weapons, and
Yeah.
it can affect the team. I will tell you this: 1998, my senior year, we did not use our weapons offensively. It was probably our worst offensive line in my tenure there. They were struggling um, and had NFL guys. Oxnard,
Damn.
Dominic was really really playing. But I know I went to them. That's the year I told you I went to the Coast Soldiers after the Texas A&M game because myself and Lance Brown missed a couple other players. And I went in there and I said, "Hey man, you need to play him. He needs to be playing more." About Dominic, I said, "Put him in the game," because I knew what he was. I saw what he was. I saw it in practice. This dude is nasty. This dude is a monster. This dude ran. I told you, this dude ran up South Stadium more than anyone in history. My tenure there. And me and Chevin Wiggins would literally start like, "You're Dominic." We like, "Oh, that boy, go again, Chef. Oh, we got running through the stairs." You see, him put his head down. He running up the stairs. We just be chuckling. But you have to know what you have. And going back to weapons, you have weapons. And going back to '98, our strength offensively was our wide receiving group that year.
Yeah.
That's the year Bobby emerged as a starting quarterback. Then he got hurt. That was Monty. Then we ended up with Cross towards later end of the year.
Yep.
But on our offensive side of the ball, because we were in Nebraska, we ran the ball that much and all that stuff. All of the receivers were back.
Mm,
We lost Vershawn, Carpenter, and Jeff Lake. But that was Sheldon, that was Tracy Winstrom, that was myself, that was Chevin, that was
damn.
Lance, that was John Gibson, that was the Young Bucks
Oh,
coming in. But it was the core of the offense was the receiving group. but we refused as Nebraska to put it in our hands. And there was a specific play that I totally lost my mind and went nuts on them about. And that was the University of Texas game when we broke our home winning streak in Memorial Stadium.
I was at
And
that game. My dad and I were at that game, Ken. Oh, my God.
I know I had a play on the sideline. I think I caught it, and they said my feet were out. Or my toe had touched the line. I thought it was in. But the play, you'll remember this, that really pissed me off, and I went nuts on the sideline, was we had ran a couple plays where they hiked it to Dan Alexander in the shotgun. Now you have all those receivers out there, and we ran the same play again. When they called it, I looked, and you probably see on the film for a while. I'm like, and I looked and said, what the? It was a third down play, and you're not throwing us the ball. We're going to get that. And you want to hike the ball through, and they stopped to the fourth down. It was something. I think it might have third and fourth or something. Might have been fourth. And we ended up turning the ball over or something, and that was it. But we're not using our strengths. That goes away. Sometimes you got to get out of here and use your strengths. Stretch the field. You got two elite guys that can run that you don't use. Explain to me why we're wasting Jalen's talent running side to side.
Well, you know,
explain
I
to me
wish
why
I,
we're only
I wish I could
running
explain it to you.
You get what I'm saying? That opens up the offense so much more. Now they have to respect Dylan so much more. Now the running backs have more holes to run through.
Yeah.
Because now they have to play us for that deep ball in that path. We're not really throwing the deep ball. Every once in a while we get a deep ball. But it's not like a major factor in our offense.
No.
We need to attack the middle of the field more. The tight end. There's so many more things we need to do that will open this offense up that we're not doing. That it's shocking and it's disturbing because we're not using our players.
And it's there. The potential is there, the talent is there, the plays are there.
Mm-hmm.
We just need all three of those to just come together.
Absolutely.
And then, as we have always said for I don't know how many years now, the offense and defense need to play an entire 60-minute game together. Not one doing good and one struggling. Together. Is it too much to ask? I don't know. Maybe
for us it is.
I was going to say, maybe it is too much to ask right now. I don't know. I mean, shit.
We can't seem to figure it out.
No. All right, we got one more from Twitter. Let's see. There we go. Chris Ballenkamp. I'll take kicked off our wide receiver's knee for an INT to break our hearts for 1,000, Alex. # Huskers. I pulled that because it made me laugh, dude. It's just like, yeah, that seemed about accurate. As accurate as any way could be for us to lose the game. That was it. It really was. Because like I think, yeah, me and you were talking about it. I thought the ball hit the ground. I really did. I didn't know it came off his knee. And not to mention, let's think about that play too. If Harburg throws that maybe a second earlier, that's either a touchdown or it's definitely a completion inside the 10.
Right.
Because it was there. It really was there.
Yeah.
It just needed to be that second or a full second earlier. Because that second being late is what allowed that defender to come over and make the play on the hit. And it was not a dirty hit. It shouldn't have been targeting or a defenseless player. That defender was straight going for the ball. He was not looking to hit the receiver. He had his arms out trying to get that ball. Now, like you said, the fact that the damn thing bounces off of our receiver who is laying flat on the ground, bounces off his knee and right into the next UCLA defender's arms as he's falling to the ground. That is one of the most if not
It was meant for you to lose. Yeah, it's meant for you to lose. Yeah.
the best Nebraska way to do it.
Yeah.
It really was. Well, I thought I had one more on there. Maybe it just didn't load up, so I can't remember who it was from, so I apologize for that. But oh well. It was something along the lines of hell. I don't remember, so it don't matter. No big deal. All right. So as far as Husker Twitter goes, there you go. It was pretty lighthearted, but at the same time, is exactly what it should have been. And there were plenty more that were like that weren't heavily critical or anything like that, just speaking straight facts, speaking the truth of what everybody saw. So yeah, I got to give Husker Twitter a lot of credit. They did a good job not just trashing everybody and everything. But I will tell you that a lot of fire Satterfields, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And even it's coming from some pretty well respected and higher up there Husker podcasts. So yeah, it's not good. Not good for Satterfield right now. And he's feeling it too. He hears all this chatter.
Yeah, he don't
So
want to call him the plays. At some
in a
point, you got to
way,
stop calling dumb shit.
yeah. In a way, I do feel bad that he has to hear all this shit outside of work and all that. But hey, that's the job. It's the nature of the beast.
Stop being sexy.
Yep, thank you. Dude, when they handed that little end around off to, I'm not sure if it was uh, Lloyd or if it was Nayer when we were down on the goal line. I was like, why are you getting cute?
I think it was big boy, the one who's played fullback that went to tight end. Was it him? I think
it might
18
have
or
been
16.
when he was coming. Yeah, he was coming around from left to right.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah, and I was just like, why are you getting cute? And then the next
Sexy.
play they
Wrong
go into
time.
shotgun. And I know we scored on the next play out of shotgun with Dowdell, but I'm just like, why are you getting cute with something like that? And then you go into
Wrong time.
shotgun.
Yeah, wrong time to do that. It's the wrong time to do that. Sometimes it's the wrong time to do some shit. I mean,
Yeah.
not surprising about it. Don't get sexy.
Sometimes the obvious thing to do is the thing to do. When everybody knows what you're going to do, if you're going to run it up the middle to get that, which is what I believe they should have done, or at least a quarterback sneak right there,
Right.
just do it. It's not a secret. You don't need to be pretty. You don't need to be sexy or cute. They're not good. You're not going to score on a play like that being cute or sexy, and everybody's going to praise you for that call. No, because here's what they're going to say. If he hadn't scored on that, it was going to be the most boneheaded call he could have made.
Right.
And we hear that said way more than I'm glad he got the score. No, we hear it said that was a boneheaded call. Way more. So I don't know. All right. Believe it or not, we do have field generals of the week. I was on the fence as to whether to choose anybody or not, but ultimately I thought the way they at least fought to come back, it warranted a couple. So on offense, it was a toss-up. It is a wide receiver. On offense, it was a toss-up, though. It was going to be between either Nayor or Barney Jr. So I had to go with Ja'Cory Barney Jr. I really did. I know Nayor. I know he had a few more yards than Ja'Cory as far as receptions go. But I thought Ja'Cory really was that spark plug on offense yesterday. Defense had to account for wherever he was on the field. They really did. So I really like Ja'Cory and him going forward. He's a freshman. So Ja'Cory Barney Jr., you're definitely getting the offensive player of the week, or excuse me, field general of the week. On defense, definitely Ty Robinson. I thought he did an amazing job. He was finally getting a lot more pressure back there during the second half.
Mm-hmm.
He was really disrupting the running game that UCLA was trying to establish there. And just all in all, creating havoc in that second half in that backfield against UCLA. So there you go. It was, it's hard to really pick players of the week at all, especially after a loss. Wins are just as tough, folks. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Wins are just as hard to pick players of the week whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. You got Ty Robinson on defense, Ja'Cory Barney Jr. on offense, players of the week, field generals of the week, if you will. So, I mean, Kenny, we pretty much covered it, man. Shit. We weren't overly critical. I mean, straight fact.
Play better.
Yeah. And now we got a week off. And then I believe we prepare for it's either Wisconsin or USC.
USC.
Okay, so we go to USC. We're playing at the Coliseum. They have been beaten there this year. So, I mean,
a lot of places.
Yeah, they have. So, I mean, it's not like this is a game to look at like, oh, shit, Ohio State, probably a loss. No reason to look at it that way. And this team can play on the road. This team can win on the road. We've seen it.
Yeah.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility that, hell, maybe they get their shit together in the next 2 weeks and come out royally pissed off. Just don't come out the way you did after a bye week against Indiana. Don't do that.
No,
do not
don't
do that. Especially with it being an away game after another bye week. Yeah, please don't do that.
Nah, hell no.
God. All right. So I think we covered it. We can go ahead and shut her down. Like I said, I'm sorry that it didn't work out with Jamal to have him on this week. He royally tried, and I couldn't.
Yeah, we tried for like an hour and a half.
Oh God, I couldn't even thank him enough for trying that hard. So it means he really wants to be on with us, and he really does. So we will have him on this next week for the bye week. We'll have him on to talk about the next few games coming up, what the chances are, how things are going, what he has seen this season. So I really want to get his perspective on what he's been looking at and where we can improve. I mean, we know where we can improve, but Jamal being a former quarterback, also playing in the league, he might have a little better idea of something to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So, yes, we'll have Jamal on with us next week, and we're going to go ahead and shut her down now. I mean, you know where to find Kenny. You find him on Twitter. You see right there, Husker Noop 1911. Of course, you'll find the show right here at Husker Army Pod. You see it there. You find us on Twitter and Instagram for that. Of course, as always, if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. Leave us a comment. We'll get right back to you. It really helps out the show. And then one last time, as always, you got to talk about the merch over at hurrdatsports.com. You see it all right there. Helps the show out, helps keep us going. And we love to see the support from Husker Nation. We can't thank you guys enough. It's been amazing. And before I forget it, because I forgot it for the last couple episodes, I need to royally thank my wife for getting me this desk right here. I don't know if anybody knew this or not, and it's funny. I have been sitting in one of those on-the-floor gamer rocker chairs this entire time until the last couple episodes now. Now I have a desk, and I got a nice chair that my buddy Chris hooked me up with. So what I'm saying is now I no longer sit on the floor and have my back and my neck killing me by the time I'm done recording an episode. I am not going to lie. I was hurting like hell after every episode because of how bad my back and neck are. Finally comfortable, good layout. My wife helped me set some certain things up that you see around here. She got me, let me see, which hand do I need? This jersey right here. It actually has our logo as the patch on the shoulder. It says Huskers in red on the front. I believe it says Huskers or possibly Husker Army Pod as the name on the back. So I love everything about it. So thank you, baby, so much for finally getting me a desk. I had no idea. I'm more comfortable. I'm finally actually comfortable. I like doing this again. It's nice. I'm not horrible. I'm not feeling miserable. So we got all that out the way. All right. You guys know where to find us. YouTube. And then you got also the audio only platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. There's plenty more. So make sure to like the show on the audio only platforms as well. Leave us a like on there. Subscribe to the show if it allows on those platforms. Really helps us out, as we said. We love bringing you guys whatever content we can. So always leave us comments on YouTube, whether critical, whether it's, hey, do this, hey, don't do that, hey, say this maybe. We don't mind. We take it all into consideration. So that's it for now. We will see you guys this next week. We will have Jamal Lord on with us. We'll go for another bye week, talk about the few games coming up. So at this point, we're going to shut her down. This is it right here. Last, as always, Husker Nation, Husker Army. You know what to do. At ease, you are all dismissed.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.